Before we get into the soil science that changed everything in my garden, do me a favor right now and subscribe to Evergreen Garden, drop a comment letting me know what you're growing this season, and share this with one gardener who still thinks fertilizer alone builds healthy soil. This channel is about real results, and what I'm about to explain is, honestly, one of the biggest turning points I've ever experienced as a gardener. I didn't change my compost recipe. I didn't buy a new fertilizer. I didn't switch crops. I added one microbe, and suddenly plants that struggled for years were deeper green, faster growing, and far more resilient. This wasn't luck, and it wasn't magic. It was nutrient cycling finally working the way nature designed it to work. The microbe that changed everything was mycorrhizal fungi, and honestly, why it matters more than most gardeners realize. Mycorrhizal fungi are not additives or supplements in the way fertilizer is. They are living partners that physically connect to plant roots and extend their reach into the soil. When these fungi colonize a root system, they form a network that increases nutrient and water absorption by several 100%. Phosphorus, zinc, copper, calcium, and even nitrogen suddenly become available to plants that previously couldn't access them. You know, most gardeners unknowingly grow plants in biologically dead soil. The nutrients may be present, but without microbes, they remain locked up. Mycorrhizal fungi, well, they act as the middleman, trading nutrients and water to plants in exchange for sugars the plant produces through photosynthesis. This exchange is really the foundation of healthy ecosystems, and honestly, it's the reason forests thrive without fertilizer. Nutrient cycling only works when microbes are present and active. When organic matter breaks down in soil, it does not instantly become plant food. It must first be processed by bacteria and fungi. These microbes convert complex organic compounds into plant-available forms through enzymatic activity. Without them, nutrients just sit idle or leach away with watering. Once mycorrhizal fungi established themselves in my soil, nutrient cycling really accelerated. Compost suddenly mattered more. Mulch broke down faster. Even old garden beds that had been depleted began producing again without increasing fertilizer rates. The soil became a living system instead of just a container for plants. Most gardeners fail with mycorrhizal fungi because, well, they apply it wrong. These fungi must come into direct contact with living roots to colonize successfully. Sprinkling it on the soil surface and just hoping for results does nothing, really. When transplanting seedlings, I applied mycorrhizal inoculant directly into the planting hole at a rate of 1 teaspoon per transplant for vegetables and 1 tablespoon for fruit trees. For direct seeded crops, I mixed 1 tablespoon of inoculant into 1 liter of water and drenched the seed row immediately after germination. For established plants, I created a soil slurry using 1 tablespoon per gallon of water and applied it at the base of the plant, making sure it soaked into the root zone. Once colonized, the fungi remain active for the life of the plant and often beyond, spreading through the soil to support future crops. Why phosphorus suddenly stopped being a problem in my garden? You know, phosphorus is one of the most misunderstood nutrients in gardening. Many soils, believe it or not, contain plenty of phosphorus, but it exists in forms plants simply cannot absorb. Mycorrhizal fungi release organic acids and enzymes that solubilize phosphorus and transport it directly into plant roots. After inoculating my soil, I reduced phosphorus fertilizer by more than half. Tomato plants developed thicker stems and, honestly, deeper green leaves. Root crops formed more evenly. Flowering increased noticeably across fruiting plants. This wasn't because I added more nutrients, but because the nutrients already present became available. The connection between mycorrhizal fungi and drought resistance is, well, quite remarkable. One of the most dramatic changes I observed was water efficiency. Mycorrhizal fungi extend far beyond the root zone, acting like microscopic pipelines that move water toward plant roots. During dry periods, plants with fungal partners stay turgid longer and recover faster from heat stress. In practical terms, beds inoculated with mycorrhizae required watering roughly 30% less frequently. Leaf wilting during midday heat decreased, and recovery overnight improved significantly. This matters more than ever as weather patterns become less predictable. Why synthetic fertilizers and fungicides can undo all your progress. High-salt synthetic fertilizers disrupt microbial relationships by making nutrients too readily available. When plants don't need fungal partners, they stop feeding them sugars, and the fungi die back. Fungicides are even worse, often killing beneficial fungi along with pathogens. After inoculating my soil, I shifted to low-salt organic fertilizers and compost-based nutrition. If feeding was needed, I used diluted fish hydrolysate at a ratio of 1 tablespoon per gallon, applied no more than once every 2 weeks. This kept plants nourished without suppressing microbial activity. So, let's talk about the crops that benefit the most, and, well, the few that really don't. Most vegetables, fruit trees, herbs, and flowers are able to form mycorrhizal partnerships. In particular, tomatoes, peppers, maize, onions, beans, squash, citrus, and berries. These all tend to respond exceptionally well. However, members of the brassica family, like cabbage, broccoli, kale, and mustard, just don't form mycorrhizal associations. But, this doesn't mean the fungi are useless in those beds. The benefits are actually indirect, supporting surrounding plants and, of course, improving soil structure. Now, how long does it take to see results, and why does patience really pay off? Some benefits can appear within just a few weeks, especially things like improved vigor and root development. But honestly, the full transformation takes a season or two as the fungal networks expand and the soil biology stabilizes. This isn't a quick fix, it's a permanent upgrade to your garden ecosystem. So with each season after inoculation, the soil texture just kept getting better. Earthworm activity, really picked up, root systems stretched deeper into the ground, and pest pressure, well, that went down as plants became more nutritionally balanced and resilient. Here's why this is honestly an evergreen gardening practice that just compounds over time. Once you've got mycorrhizal fungi established, you'll notice you're less dependent on external inputs. Compost starts working even better. Mulch, instead of just sitting there, actually feeds the system. Plants, well, they begin to work with the soil, not against it. This is, without a doubt, how regenerative gardens are built. I didn't add a product, I added biology, and that quite simply changed everything. If this guide helped you understand what's really happening beneath your plants, go ahead and subscribe to Evergreen Garden for more no-nonsense, results-driven gardening content. Share this with a gardener who's tired of guessing, and leave a comment telling me if you've worked with soil microbes or if you're about to try this for the first time. Your garden will never be the same again.